DIYer here. Now, I'm not a DIYer because I like it. I'm a DIYer because I have to. My evil landlady said if I don't do this kitchen, I'll be out on the street. What? Oh, yeah, she doesn't like being called that. Sorry, my evil girlfriend. So, here we are. We've been to Wren's and, well, I say we. She went to Wren's and then I got the Wren package to put together. Now, there is a larger video that's going to look at some of the things to see if it's worth getting a Wren video, a Wren kitchen, sorry. But while we were doing this renovation, we came across the sink. Now, my evil landlady has bought a ceramic sink. Now, I haven't fitted a sink in many years. I'm just a DIYer. Normally, as I'm sure you can tell, I'm a supermodel, so don't get to do a lot of sink fitting. So I opened the box. Now, I did go to the showroom and see the sink before, and when we were there were two metal little discs, one on either side of the sink for fitting the tap. So I thought, okay, it's a pre-drilled hole. Unfortunately, we're going to have to live with the metal disc that we don't need. But it's not my choice, I don't care, I just want it done. So, imagine my surprise when I opened the box. And I think what I'm going to do now is turn you over to me at the time of opening the box. Now, remember, I'm just a DIYer, I'm not an influencer or anything, I don't have all the super great cameras and stuff. I just was basically using my phone, and what I'm using at the moment is a very old Sony camcorder. So let's just go now and take a look at what I've discovered, and bear in mind all, because this is distressing.
Have you noticed the problem? I was shocked. There are no holes for the tap, and you will not believe what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to put this on here, and then with a hammer and a punch you're supposed to hammer through there. Now, everything I know about ceramics is don't hit ceramics with a metal hammer or any kind of hammer. So I think this is the biggest scandal I've ever seen. I've never seen this before.
So let's just stop there and have a look at what we've just seen. Okay, so you buy a ceramic sink, and what you're then expected to do after you spend, and I believe this sink is like over £350. So it's like with the taps and something, it was over 400 something. I mean, the sink we had before worked. Anyway, I'm not getting into that. You are then supposed to hit this sink with a hammer. Are you insane? I'm sorry. Yes. As we can see, now let's just take a look at this. Right, this is the first video I took a look at on YouTube to see how it was done, even if it was real, and just listen to what the fella says at the beginning. I will speed it up a little bit and then listen to what happens at the end, the D word. Okay, let's watch it.
How to make a tap hole in ceramic sink. These sinks got two tap hole positions depending what side sink is going to be mounted. They are factory pre-drilled, ready to be tapped out. Now in past I did that and broke the sink, so from then onwards I always use an old hole saw, 35mm, and just drill it a bit more than factory drill. I supported the sink on polystyrene packaging. And then flip the sink over, supported in polystyrene packaging, double check the position of the sticker. There you go, the main knockout is out. Now I just need to make hole bigger. And there you go. One knockout. All we have of the damage is a little bit of chip on this side, but that's going to be covered with a top shroud.
Did you hear that? The first one I did, I broke. Then he used a tool which, quite frankly, looked to me like it was grinding itself out. What good it did, I don't know. And then he chipped away. Now, I do think he should have just given it one big sharp bang if you are going to do that, and then chip away. But anyway, he chipped away, got away with it, it came out nice. Then he had to carry on chipping away at the porcelain or the glaze. And right at the end, did you see the damage? He chipped out a big chip. Now, he's right, it might be covered by the tap, but who wants to take that risk on a £350 or more sink? We've already had a bit of a disaster, and I'll show that now. Now, being a good DIYer is knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I don't have the tools for doing the worktops. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. I've done about 3 or 4 in my time. However, I had an expert with me. I paid for him to come and do it, but he used to make me do it with all his tools because he was semi-retired, a lovely bloke named Eric. But unfortunately, that was a long time ago, and he was already in his 70s. And if he's still with us, he wouldn't be coming to do it now. But the point was, I learnt enough to know you need to know your tools, you need to have the right ones, and you need to know what you're doing. So I thought, get someone in on that. Bless them, they had a nightmare, and they had a nick on the edge. So they tried to recover it and it didn't work. So we've got to get new worktops again. Bummer. So that's fresh in my mind. I'm thinking I'm not losing another £350 of my evil landlady's money. Not mine, because I ain't got any. But, I mean, sorry, my evil girlfriend. Yeah, she doesn't like being called evil landlady, bless her. Anyway, so I'm like hyper bloody concerned about hitting this sink with a hammer, as you might imagine. So I had a look at this. I watched the video. I only found another one. I found another fella who went to a lot of trouble trying to do it. He was hitting it with a hammer, and he spent a long time, and he sort of got away with it. It was okay, but in my mind, you don't hit ceramic things with a hammer. This is a ceramic tile. This is a hammer. Look what happens when you hit a ceramic tile with a hammer. What a surprise. Now, I'm aware of cutters, okay? It's not my first time using the tool, so I know there are cutters out there. So I think to myself, let's have a look, because as you can see, there's the pre-molded holes, and they're 35mm. So I went on, into web, went to Screwfix, and found a hole cutter, 35mm hole cutter for £10.49 at the making of this film. Now, £10.49 compared to 350, let's say, it's no brainer. So I'm thinking, you don't hit it, let's cut it with these lovely diamond bits. And as you can see, maybe I wish I hadn't done that now, because I've got to do it with my super IT skills. I'm going to show you the bit. It's got all the diamond. It's probably over here, but it's got the diamond bits on it. So my theory was, I'm going to cut it. But my worry was, this seems the most logical thing to do. This cutter is designed for cutting holes in tiles for pipes, and potentially this job, I don't know. But no one's mentioning it. Everyone's going, yeah, no worries, I'll hit it with a hammer. Are you mad? Anyway, so I'm there thinking, am I an idiot? Probably. So I'm going to start cutting it with this, and I'm going to show you what happened all the way through. I'm obviously going to speed it up, because I spent, I think, at least an hour doing this, because no one else had mentioned it. So I was thinking, maybe I'm on the wrong idea here, and I'm going to blow out the other end and cause no end of problems. So I think this is a massive scandal. All it benefits is the manufacturer. They only have to have one tool. It benefits the distributor or the retailer. They don't have to stock lots of things. Who doesn't it benefit? The customer. It's terrible customer service. And this is indicative of what's going on in this world today. Like social media, or I'm putting everything online for your convenience, and it never is for my convenience. I want to talk to a person because the IT doesn't always work. How convenient is that? So to me, I think this is shameful, and I am going. Well, this is the company I got we got this sink from, and if I'd known, and if it had been my money, I would have taken this back to the company and I would have shoved it through their front door, because I think it's disgusting. Number one, they should be giving you a better option of how to cut this sink. They can practice, they can find it. If they had any sense, they could offer a service. I would have paid extra if I'd known just to have it cut. I would have been disappointed, but I still would have paid. Or they could be selling, if this cutter works, they could be selling the flipping cutter with it for idiots like me who then did. Anyway, there's a solution other than hitting this thing, I am sure of it. Anyway, let's check and see how I get on cutting through. Now, I'm going to go back to the me of the time. So here we go. But remember, sorry for sound and everything. I'm just doing it off my phone. And this isn't even the latest phone. This is like an iPhone 6. That's how financially challenged I am. So let's take a look at how I get on.
So this is the tool that I intend to use, and I'm hoping that I can put it in there and slowly cut through the ceramic. So I fitted the bit to the drill, and now I'm going to put it on the slow gear, and I've added some water because it will help the cutting, and I'm now going to try and do it. So wish me luck. It's at this point now that I am really worrying. I'm putting hardly any pressure, I'm going very slowly, and I can't really tell if anything's happening. But my big concern is if I go too hard, and I'm trying not to actually go through because it'll probably blow it out the other end. However, if I can go extremely slowly and without pressure, I might be able to grind through without blowing it out the other end. But the way my luck's been going on this kitchen, I doubt that's going to happen. Okay, let's carry on. So after some very gentle and sweating on my behalf turns, the water's dried out, so I'm going to put some more in there, and I'm using just a sponge because I've been advised that it doesn't need much, but this method is it's not that great, but there's water there now. Okay, here we go again.
This goes on for quite a while. I mean, quite a while. I kept saying to myself, why did I not see any other videos doing this? So I thought perhaps it's a mad idea. So I went really slowly. I think I spent easily 40 minutes drilling this out. So I'm going to cut some bits. I'm gonna leave some of the I'm going to leave some of the bits where I stop and talk, because I think, as I understand it, certainly my evil landlady loves to see me in distress. If I fall over, if I cut myself, if something happens to me, it's the funniest thing in the world to her. I mean, literally, you cannot stop her laughing. So, as I understand it, people are like that. So come with me on this stressful journey, because I cannot tell you how painful I found this. Because not only was I annoyed that this is the method, I mean, flipping heck. Anyway, I'm doing it, and I am genuinely worried that this is going to happen. Don't forget, we've just learnt that the 2 worktops that cost 400 quid are knackered, and I'm now trying to do this straight after finding that out. So let's go back to the phone.
I've started to hear a different sound, like a sharper sort of grating sound, which is now making me worry that I've reached the glaze side, and I'm concerned about continuing. I mean, this could be the place where it would be a good idea to stop, but how do you know until you try? Here we go. Okay, I've now been at this for 4 days. I'm that well, no, I've not been 4 days. But again, when you use a circular cutter, you tend to rock from side to side like this, so that you're not putting all of the cutter in at one time. It helps cut a hole. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's what you do. You certainly do it when you're cutting holes in wood and things like that. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm a bit concerned that it's not quite level yet. So I hear a noise every now and then. It sounds like I'm on the porcelain. Yeah, not that porcelain, but I'm just gonna keep going ever so gently now, because I have no idea. I'm so worried that it's gonna blow out the other side. But my thinking is, if I put no pressure on it and I go really slow, I can't see it causing any more little chips on the other side than it does when you hit it with a flipping hammer and a bloody hole punch. Anyway, let's keep going. The water's cleared now, and I don't think I'm anywhere near the porcelain yet, which is a bit of a concern. However, I have gone quite deep. This is the cut you can see here, look. So that's how far. I'll measure that. So we've got 25 mil, and I believe the thickness is about 40 mil. So about an inch. Oh, sorry, this is hard. But that's only a guide. Alright, I'm going to try and show you. Can you see the cutouts in the drill? Can you see how on this side the cutout is below the rim, whereas, oh sorry, this is, and on the other side it's not, so the hole isn't quite level or flat.
Look, I can see a little bit of white. Yes, I know I've just said that, but I could see a little bit of white, so we're almost down. And my stress levels have gone well up. So, fingers crossed because this is the bit where it could all go seriously wrong. Because if it pushed too hard through this now, for example, it could so that's the surface, it could push up and crack the rest of it around. So my plan was, once I get to the white bit, is to very quietly work my way through it.
Okay, it's broken through without me noticing. So let's see how thick the porcelain or glaze has I've been corrected. Oh, a wafer thin. Right, so that little bit there is a worry. So that's going to be a big chip on the other side. But rest of it looks okay, but that chip should easily be hidden by the tap. But if you look, I've got masking tape through there and everything got through the masking tape, so basically once I got down to that, it just took the glaze with it. Look how thin that is, bloody hell. What's that Welsh fella that cries over every bit of pottery he makes? I bet he'd say that needs to be thicker. Anyway, let's get this turned over and see if my day's ruined.
It came out, and it is 20 mil, 18 mil probably, and it took me almost an hour, or an hour. But look how thin the glaze is. It's ridiculous. It's wafer thin. Anyway, it's out. So, I'm pleased. So what do? I flip it over and I look at the, as you can see, let's watch that bit now.
Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. It doesn't look very good. You can see all that brown stuff. I just hope that's brown stuff. Sorry, the light's not great. Oh, that's looking sore to me, but oh yeah, the last bit is the one that doesn't want to come off. Okay, actually, that's far better than I've seen on Tinterweb. If I had the balls, I should put the cutter back through that hole. Maybe I will. Okay, stand by.
Right. So, I'm not going to stop there, am I? Because it's just not quite right. So I'm going to try now and cut down through it. This is what I always do, and then I mess it up. Enjoy this last moment.
Okay, I've taken the tape off and cleaned it up, and it looks good. But can you tell that's an overhang of the glaze. I'm going to say porcelain because I don't care. I'm just relieved that it's that good. Right, next step. Right, one thing I did leave behind was some decent So, right now I'm about to push my luck and see if I can just get that tidied up. Are we still running? Yeah, but it's not the right size.
Have you tried the tapping it?
No, I don't want to do that yet.
Yeah.
Well, I can do it again later, so. Okay, I've been advised to stop there, but it's not. There's still a little bit of an overhang, and quite frankly, I think that it needs to come out. But I'm going to stop today because okay, that is not quite the right size, I think, because it still needs a little bit but taken out. But I've been advised to stop because that's better than anything else I've seen so far on the internet. So right, so we'll see how we get on when it comes to putting the tap in, but that is a relief.
Can you believe that worked? I can, because it was my idea, so yes, and I'm super great. But I also wasn't 100% sure. I went so slowly and carefully. I was putting no pressure at all when I was pushing. I was just letting the weight and listening to the sound. As long as I could hear it grinding, I was getting it through. But when I did get down to the glaze, or the porcelain, whatever you want to call it, I could see it because I was going so slow. At least 40 minutes. I had an iPhone running, trying to capture it, and it said it was 43 minutes, and that ran out of battery before I finished. So I think I was doing that for an hour. Now I know what to expect. I could have done that a bit quicker, but I had an hour. I had more than an hour to spend. So 355 pounds, or whatever it was, or an hour just acting like a big Wendy. Being a big Wendy saved some money, I think. What was funny was I wanted to go through really carefully through the white glaze and try and get a cut, but as I came through, it sort of cut itself. That's not me working, by the way. That's we've got some people next door doing a bathroom. So I'm doing the kitchen, they're doing a bathroom, so it's kind of fitting. So I dare say you can hear that. Anyway, so it sort of cut through, and I would have liked to ground through. If I was going a bit faster, it might have ground through, but I don't know if it would have blown through. Blown means it would have chipped out of the whole the other side, like that, just like that, in fact. So when I turned it over, I could see that there was a bit of a wobble on the hole I'd made, because I was, sparing. You kind of when you cut a core or a hole in wood, you sort of rock the bit so it's not the whole blade at once, and making your drill work harder. But the point is, tested it after, and it's it is 35 hole. As you can see, I did put the cutter on top afterwards, and with this tape, whether the tape was helping or not, I could hold it in place, so it's possible I could have started and gone down through that. I was stopped by the evil landlady girlfriend from tidying it up any further, because she was probably right. Can you not cut it all in one go? Anyway, she was probably right in not pushing my luck, because potentially I can get the tap on now, and it is a very nice hole. There's no real chipping or anything. Out of all the ones I've seen on the internet, which is 3, the hole that this made was much better. Now, just to recap, in case you try this, I put no real pressure on it. I took a long time. I put water in. I bought a brand new cutter, so I'm not messing about. And I think it's a lot more doable. I think it's a lot more doable. To cut it that way, I think you've got perhaps less risk than chipping if you hit it with a hammer. I mean, you saw it, so I I would say it's probably, if you take your time, it's probably safer. I mean, at the point when I could see the white, perhaps if I wanted to and gone back and chipped, it might have been better. But I still think hitting that fracture on the first video, on the video we saw, you know, little chip out, sort of. It's like when you're napping when you're a caveman. Remember, when you're a caveman and you're napping out your flint. It was like one of those, and that could have gone quite a long way past, or could have, you know, stress fracture. I don't know, but doing it this way, there's no, because hitting, it's the shock that does the ceramic, and grinding this with the water and gently, you know, I mean, I literally wasn't holding, I was just letting it do it, so there was no, you know, pressures or anything. So I personally, after doing what I'm doing, if I had to do another one, I wouldn't do it another way. That was great. Okay, so thanks for watching that, and I will be putting out the entire sort of video on the things. It's not a how-to because I haven't got the kit and keep stopping, but it will be, if you're thinking of getting a Wren kitchen, it's worth looking at, because there are, you know, kitchens are kitchens, but there are things to look at when you're in the sales room or understand what's going to happen if you're going to DIY it. If you're going to get someone in to do it, make sure that they know what they do. They've done kitchen fitting before, because there's, you know, you do need to know what you're doing. But I would recommend getting someone in if you're just a simple DIYer, because if you haven't got the tools, it makes life harder. By the time you bought them all, you know, someone might come in and get it all done, and you're only paying a little bit more. But anyway, thanks for watching, and you know, stay tuned for when I do the, you know, when I release the full, when I'm going to make it just a big one, I think. So I haven't finished the kitchen. We're waiting for the replacement worktop, so God knows when that's coming, and so it's going to be a little while till I do the big one. But there are some things you might want to know if you're thinking about getting a Wren kitchen. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.